Hello and welcome to this playthrough of Factorio, where I am building a megabase on Earth. I am using a mod, Cities of Earth, focusing on the Old World Hemisphere. My goal is to reach 10,000 science per minute with a rail-based design. The resources are set to maximum size and density, and biters and pollution are turned off. The mod list is shown in the description, as well as a link to my Twitch channel, High Speed. Please come visit me there. Questions and comments are welcome. Thank you for watching. Hello. All right, so we still have to finish the steel builds, and I have to design a new blue module assembly. So this is what my new superstructure would look like, and I'm questioning whether I want to do this. Hey, Red Wraith. Welcome. Because to generate enough iron for this, for just this, I would need, well, for this, I would need I'd need 8,000 miners, which is more than what I'm using for science. That's just kind of nuts. Red Wraith, yes, I have read the FFF. Hello, Fennec. Red Wraith, my take on the FFF is I think they've done a fantastic job of solving the puzzles, removing the problems that they were looking to remove. I think the foundry, the idea that they were trying to prevent is, oh yeah, you got to do it all over again somewhere else, then you've got to do it all over again somewhere else, then you've got to do it all over again somewhere else. Yeah, that's a repetitive problem. And the foundry solves that. Very clever. Hi, smoking. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Just getting going here. I find that taking time off tends to interfere with my regular schedule, and starting to look at job opportunities in the morning. Find myself a contract position or something, so little things that take up time.
Actually, Smoke and I have a fresh monster right here. There we go. All right, where the hell is that spider? Oh, there it is. It made it all the way over here. Awesome. I think I'm going to send it down to Africa. So, if I were to try and build this such that it would produce the full belt of speed modules, it would take, in terms of iron furnaces, 8,000 iron furnaces. And for comparison, all of my science takes 2,000 furnaces. I'm not sure what my scale is. I think my scale is 4, but it might only be 3. See, this says scale 3, but I might have changed my mod settings. So, I'm honestly not sure. So, if every one of these is 144 furnaces, if I were to try and set up 10 smelting arrays, I'd get 1440, which should be a quarter of this. Hi, Bob. Yeah, beacon builds are pretty boring. So if I scale that back to just 80 of those, then I need 1,600 furnaces, iron furnaces. And so, say 1,700 iron furnaces divided by 144 means that I need to come up with 12. So yeah, I would need to come up with 12 iron sources to provide for a stack that is only 80 high. So that's this. which means that I could actually reduce this to just a 2 and just blend 2 of these together. Just put the red and the blue together and call it that. Because it's just not sustainable to do otherwise. So I would bring A in as the blue, B and C in as the green and the red, but then put those together like I've done in other ones. I wonder whether they'll change the beacons like they did in SE to make for more interesting builds. I hope they do. I hope they do. And you've got a hint at it right there in the Foundry with how productive it is. Right? That Foundry's productivity bonus. I think this has to be here. Of course, Burgers and Fries isn't going to like the fact that they spouted off about efficiency modules. And I tend to agree with Burgers. If you've got efficiency module problems, you've got bigger problems. Yo, Jay. Yeah, smoking. That's my point too. Well, Fennec, do they need to, or do they have bigger fish to fry, right? Could they put those big old engineering brains to better use by solving other problems if you just leave efficiency modules as a red-headed stepchild that, nobody takes seriously? So I am going to arbitrarily cap production of speed modules at 10 in a column, 80 in total. And when I do that, according to Kirk, I now only need to come up with 1,700 iron furnaces. And 1,700 iron furnaces is 12 outposts. So when I do that, now that means I'm going to need a lot of these other ones, but when I look around the world, where am I going to find 12 iron outposts that I can cap and bring on 383s that aren't going to be a disaster for me? Come here. Oh, there is a YouTube channel called Yeah Mad, which is Australian comedians, and there's one guy. He has a whole string of redheaded jokes, and I think one of the funniest ones I heard is, "What do you call a redhead who gets a phone call on a Saturday night, a wrong number?" And I was just like, "Oh God, that's savage. That's so good." Thanks, Faceless. Get out of the way. Now, the other thing is if you set aside quality, the fact that they're going to add the furnace as a replacement, or the foundry as a replacement for a furnace and an assembler, I mean, in terms of blueprints, that right there is going to cause just a little bit of um, new work problems. Right? Because now you've got a blueprint pre-furnace or pre-foundry and post-foundry. And I'd be willing to bet that there's going to be something like a foundry on another planet too. Oh yeah, I'm sure you can, Smokin', but if you have a way to get 2.5 times production out of the same machine that's a little bit larger, why wouldn't you use that? Good monster. Okay, so 80 of those is 200 of those and 400 of those. Holy butts. First off, let's make sure that this is okay. And let's make sure that that's my new. $1201. I prefer a burner phase that's longer too. Lazy bastard pies. Yeah, horrible man smoking. Oh, a little history there. There was a mod that gave you a burner assembler and then took away your ability to craft. And so it was before there were even achievements in Factorio, Steam achievements. So you you achieve that by only having that burner assembler. Now, in my case, because I'm kind of slow and special, I didn't think to like reuse an assembler and then just feed it what I needed. I built an assembly process for everything that I needed, even if I only needed one of them. And it wasn't until like 80% of the way through the game that I realized that, wait a minute, I can just place down an assembler, tell it what I want, feed it, hand feed it what I want, get the item like the refinery that I needed. But instead, I had a whole assembly line process for a refinery because I didn't think to just hand feed an assembler. All right, so to make these is a 3 and these is 2. Zinder, yeah, we were discussing today's FFF. Solar might be viable close to the sun, but with no water, uranium, steam, or nuclear is out. Water can be gotten by refining sulfuric acid. Where's the power to kick that off coming from? Yeah, that is probably solar. You ain't gonna get a no solar achievement. That's yeah, that's a good point. I want to snap this and relative it and shorten it by what do I want to shorten it by? 5? What I want to try and do is just slam this down and have it tile correctly. Yeah, that's what I want. So, if I do this correctly, I'm going to have some landfill to deal with, but it's a lot easier than the other crap I got going on here. If only I had the ability to actually have blueprints that had landfill. So in theory, if none of those waters get in the way, you should build a radar and a power pole setup as it goes. All right, back to this. Speed 3s, if I do 80 of them, iron furnaces, I would need 1,700. Which works out to 12 patches. And for copper, I would need 2,300. $2,300 divided by 144 is 16. They left out power videos are not necessary. Interesting that I didn't notice there's no power poles. Coal is abundant, so I'm thinking there might be a burner generator. Given the nature of the planet, geothermal seems like to be a good addition. Yeah. Yeah, Zinder, but it's still a two-step process. Although maybe it's not. Maybe I just haven't done it enough. Although this seems to be working. That's very nice. Oh, yeah. I'm sure I'm going to be putting landfill in the middle of that lake, and I'm sure I don't care anymore. All right, so according to this, I'm going to do the lesser of these things here. Do I have the modules I need to do this? No. I think I have it here, though. Yeah, I do. Okay. So I've chosen you to not be 3, but to be 2. And that means you'll not be 3, but will be 2. And you're already not 3, but 2. Okay, so according to this, I will need 400 of these. Now 400 divided by 8. No, divided by 8 is 50. So I need 50 of these. Two, 4, 8. 16, get rid of this extra thing here. No, get rid of this extra thing here. That's 32. All right, so we'll delete these two. That's 30, so I need to grab 20. Yeah, yeah. I don't think I've effed. No, I have 0 drop frames. That's Twitch being twitchy. Cinder. Yeah, Fennec, I just recently created that landfill blueprint, and I have not gone back into the lab, into the editor extensions to update that. So this actually put this right on the water. I don't want to do that. But that's where it's supposed to go. This thing's not 4x4, is it? I didn't think so. I think I had another water conflict right here, so. Lake Albert, huh? That little thing is Albert. There, now nobody will know that I built a thing over top of it. Thank you, Cinder. I think I missed one. Yep, I did. That's gonna have to have one of these added. We're not going to put that on the river, though. We're going to put it to the side. All right, let's continue speccing this out. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yep. And I need 200 of those, so 200 divided by 8, 25. So there's 20. That's pretty amazing how close they are in size. All right, so all of that just for blue speed modules. Keep filling up my spreadsheet with random letters as I try and press WASD. Build it. Thank you. So I need 16 patches of copper and 12 patches of iron. I need a coal patch. I need... Oh, I need 120 refineries. I thought it was 2. I need 220 oil, plastic. To put that in perspective, that's 32. I need 7 of these. That's 56, so I need over 2 of these. I might try and stretch this just to see if I can get it to work further. But I will be cracking everything, so I might make a modified version of this because I don't need any of the yellow oil and I don't need any of the lube. So rather than put these on trains, I might just have crackers so that everything goes back to petroleum. So I might have the output of the red and the yellow come down here, get cracked like it is here. So that might take some custom engineering. Son of a gun, this is going to be a big build. Yes, it will, smoking. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm kind of worried about it. I might keep it this way just for that reason. Just not put the throttles on it. Just go ahead and let it crack everything. Oh yeah, Fennec, yeah, you too. Well, what I might do to address that is I could put another petroleum loader down here, way down here after all the cracking. Calculate how much cracking I would use. Or I could just keep using this and have more trains. Actually, the pipe throughput I was worried about was water. Because I'm pretty sure that this is using a lot of water. So each one of these is using half of a thing of water. I assume I'm capped at 72,000 for a pipe. 72,000 a minute. Which may not be accurate. I don't know. What is the capacity of a pipe? I thought it was 72,000. These I'm going slightly over. And I don't remember why. Fennec, I am designing something to build speed 3s because I'm constantly crippled on speed 3s. And so I'm taking this concept, and I think I might just cut this in half. This is just too massive. Yeah, I go by per minute. Yeah. Yeah, that would mean, yeah, that's a good point. I would need 30 offshore pumps. All right, so this is going to be too big. We're going to cut this in half. Might even cut it down by a quarter. Still, that's 900 items per minute. So if I had these, and I had 80 of them, yeah, I'd get 900 a minute. Right now, this is producing, and I have two of these, 7.5 per minute. So yeah, I'm not keeping up, but then again, I'm not like, holy crap, this is terrible. So maybe what I need to do is reconsider. Instead of that, maybe only do 20. Because if I'm currently getting 15 a minute and I get 200 a minute, I think I'll be pretty happy with that. So that would put me at 225. That puts all these numbers smaller. So if this is 20, then this goes down to about 600. And this goes down to about 400 roughly. And 600 divided by 144 means that I now need about 4 patches. And 400 divided by 144 means that I need about 3 patches. That is more manageable. And Petro, I need 30. Yeah, Fennec, I agree. I'm 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 struggling with, what do I do here to solve this problem? And when I design any of these things, the first thing I look at is what's the maximum I can put on a belt, and then I go backwards from there. So when I look at this, my deciding factor um, was it 80? Somewhere in here, I had set this to 80 because that would take up one full belt of feed material. But apparently I wasn't looking at something right. Hi, Jay. Text on the screen covers the rate calc. Yes, it does. So what the hell was I thinking when I laid that out? 90 gigawatts. Yeah. So we're gonna scale all those back. Oh, I know what it was. Is that I do it as a single column. No, no. And I'm not sure what I did. Anyhow, if I grab this and I say, okay, what's your per minute belt usage? There we go. Now, I scale that up until I get one full belt being used. Somewhere. Right, so that's 48. And then when I looked at 48, I don't know how I got to 80. I honestly don't know. Um, I'm not sure how I got there. I wanted something that I could just build off in a space area that wasn't massive. You know, like take over a section of BAM. Because I'm going to build a rocket silo. I need to build, as I understand it, I need 12 rocket silos, and a rocket silo, 3 of them will fill a blue belt with um, space science. So a rocket complex is going to be 3 rocket silos, all belt fed, and I'm going to need 4 of those complexes in order to be able to reach 10K science per minute. So I was going to build them in one of them here in like northeastern Europe or western Russia, whatever you call that. One of them in northeastern Russia, one of them in China, and one of them in Africa, roughly. And so I've got long term, I've got a lot of those things to build, and they're going to be built on this same concept. Whatever I calculate that they need, I don't like that you guys are having problems here. Whatever I calculate that they need, I'm going to have to build this sort of support structure. Each one is going to be independent in that they've each got their own iron, they've each got their own ore processing that they put onto 383s, and then they're going to take that to, for example, steel that also goes on 383s. So what you see for support components, like here's yellow science kind of neatly bundled together. Right? So everything that yellow science needs is in this area. And then the things that these need, like this needs, lube, well, that's coming from the fluids over there. And then this needs acid, and acid is coming from here, and that needs sulfur, and that's there. And these are overproducing so they can share. But ultimately, that supply chain is going to be reproduced 4 times on this map. And so one of the challenges I have is how do I supply that with speed modules? Because what I'm doing now everything I'm doing here is just on this red belt MegBase factory, and I'm just sort of struggling to keep up with 3 components. One is bacons. I do not make enough bacons. I'll have to figure that out. 2 is speed mods. In order to compensate for my lack of speed mods, I built 2 of these little speed mods. This whole thing supports 2 assemblers, and I get 7.5 a minute. And I've got 2 of them, one here and one here. So I'm trying to solve the first bottleneck I have, which is speed modules. Because when you look at this and it says finish this, I think that one's done, finish this, And then up here I've got finish this. It's because I don't have enough speed modules. That problem's not going to get easier to solve. So first problem, speed modules. Second problem, productivity modules. Third problem, beacons. And then the other stuff isn't really a challenge. Inserters have been a problem. Green inserters have been a problem. But again, I'm building all this off of 242 trains, and I'm learning as I go. So how do I get to the next step, right? How do I get to, am I going to build an infrastructure that builds all of the pieces that I need? I don't know that I need to do that. Do I need to build a blue infrastructure here? This is, it's holding up. If I can solve these pinch points, then maybe I solve the other pinch points. So now that I've looked at this again, I don't know why I came up with 80, but 48 of these fills a belt. Although that's speed module 2. No, that's speed module 3, so yeah. But that also gets me 500 a minute, which I'm going, after your commentary, is maybe too much. Oh, yeah. Okay, no, it was 48 in a column. That's the other thing to keep in mind, is that I'm starting this at 1. Right? So this is one column. You have to multiply this by 8 in order to get my actual number of how many I would build. That's why my numbers were all screwed up. So 48 of these fills a belt. So one column of this fills the input belts. They're full. Now I wanted to cut this in half and what I've done here is I've put red and green on the same belt. By putting red and green on the same belt, I'm limiting myself to only being able to go 24 because this is going to be half belt, which is fine. Because again, I can't produce that much. I can't support that much production anyways. And so then it's a vertical stack of 24. But again, when we look at a vertical stack of 24, we have to multiply that by 8 because that's one stack of 24, but I've got 8 wagons. So when we multiply 24 by 48, or 24 by 8, we get this, our actual production number of saying I'd have 192 of these. And that 192 of these, it's not really sustainable, and it's more than I need, and it's an infrastructure thing. It's not an ongoing thing. I don't want to sink too much cost into this. I don't mind waiting a little while for blue speed modules to catch up, but I certainly don't want to invest a ton in something that's not going to literally be launching rockets, because it's not going to be feeding rocket silos. It's not going to be feeding research. It's just feeding construction. So 192 is too big, right? If I just simply say, okay, what's a multiple of 8 that I can do here that is got a good production number that is worth building? So if I total it at 16 and I say, okay, I want to do a total of 16, right? Now, granted, I'm doing basically 2 rows of 8 is what I'd be doing. But if my total number is 16, it's 180 per minute. And it means that I would need 40 rows of level 2s and 40 total of level 2s and 80 total of level 1s. Which means it'd be taking this cutting it down to that. And then 40 divided by 8 means I would need 5 of these, and that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that it? Too high. So then that would all be going away, and then total here is 80 divided by 8 is 10. So if I did that for my build, not that alignment matters much, but if I did that for my build, what do I need in terms of support production, right? So instead of that, it's 16 of these. So if looking at Kirk, if it's total of 16 of these, Kirk tells me I need 332 furnaces for iron. And so then there's a couple of things that come up is that my patch mining and how many copper furnaces do I need? 460, right? Now the setup I'm using for furnaces is this 144 per patch. I'm assuming because these are all max size, max density patches, they're pretty consistent. I'm getting this 16 belt build out of it, right? And that 16 belt feeds and supports 144 furnaces. So this setup is 144 furnaces. So an ore patch supports 144 furnaces in my world. So if I need 332 furnaces and there's 144, then I need 2.3 patches. Right, which is basically 3 patches of iron, and 460 divided by 144 means that I need 3.2 or 4 patches of copper. And for petroleum, it says that I need 24. And for petroleum, what I'm doing, because on this train setup here with a 16 beacon refinery, I've got 56 of them here. So one setup like this is probably going to be fine, plus cracking it. And I could probably cut this down in size, etc., etc. By the way, why aren't you working? No. Perfect. So now we've got some numbers that I think are more manageable. I've scaled back what I originally was going to do. 180 is a significant bump from 15, 10x. So the question becomes, can I find 4 copper, 3 iron, and an